Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Salango Law. Get results, not excuses.
Still be mindful of about 2 more days or so of some likely chances of moderate to heavy showers in the state. Some general thunderstorms possible today. Again, the ground may be saturated out there with some previous days of some up to heavy rain, and still be mindful most of West Virginia. We have a marginal to borderline slight risk of excessive rain today and tonight down near the Virginia state line. The slight risk, this is for excessive rain leading to flash flood potential today. Remember, turn around, don't drown. We had a low of 65 and a high of 75 in Charleston yesterday. Average high is 78. Southern areas of the state, we have some showers and some possibilities of thunderstorms this morning, and then becoming likely for most of us later this afternoon, this evening, and tonight. One more likely chance of showers tomorrow and ending sometime very early Friday, and then we have an extended stretch of some dry weather in the long term. Fly Serbia forecast, it starts at home. Tampa near 92 today, Chicago 82, Atlanta near 80, Washington 78 with a chance of showers today. From Panhandle to Panhandle, likely chance of showers later in the day and overnight. Highs approaching 80 and lows in the mid-60s for northern areas tonight. To the east, a chance of showers and storms later this afternoon through tonight, becoming likely for a time. Lows around the 60s tonight. From east to west, increasing chance of showers later in the day, and then likely tonight. Highs in the mid-upper 70s, lows around the mid-60s. And to the south, showers likely out the door, chance of a thunderstorm, and then showers with a possibility of a thunderstorm. Look likely later today and tonight yet. Charleston 78 tomorrow. Chance of showers comes to an end very early Thursday. Friday's dry near 80. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, all dry days. Mix of sun and clouds. High 70s to low 80s. Again, today and tonight, we do have that risk yet of excessive rain that could lead to that flash flood potential near 78 in Charleston today.
This is Ben Salango with Salango Law. Salango Law has earned a reputation for getting excellent results for our clients. With decades of experience handling thousands of cases, we know what it takes to deliver. Proudly voted Best in the Valley for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Charleston Gazette-Mail, Salango Law is deeply committed to giving back by investing in our community. From supporting local programs to making our region a better place to live, Salango Law is proud to be your trusted legal and community partner. Check us out at salangolaw.com.
It's a Monday on a Tuesday on a short week. It's all messed up. It's MetroNews Talkline, and we are underway.
Do not attempt to change the station. You are surrounded. We interrupt this program to bring you an emergency news bulletin. Repeat, this is an emergency bulletin. Keep your radio turned on.
From the studios of WVRC Media and the Metro News Radio and Television Network, the voice of West Virginia, comes the most powerful show in West Virginia. This is Metro News Talkline with Dave Wilson and TJ Meadows.
Check set lineup link. Activated Telos telephone. Switch network control from Charleston to Morgantown.
Stand by. Q Dave and TJ. You're on. Metro News Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Good morning. Welcome inside the Encova Insurance Studios. Dave Wilson of Morgantown. TJ is taking some much-deserved time off this week. He will return on Monday. Otherwise, rest of the gang's all here. Kyle Wiggs is handling our phones this morning. He's on the audio side of things. Jake Link handles the video stream. We appreciate you being part of the program, listening in on our great radio affiliates across the state, or watching on the Metro News television app, YouTube Live, and Facebook Live as well. Phone number is 800-765-TALK, 800-765-8255. Text the show at 304-TALK-304. Those are the 2 ways you can participate. Coming up this morning, got a lot to get into. Will be Brad Squared in the second hour. Brad McElhinny will stop by, as on Friday, you may have missed it, heading into the long holiday weekend, the Justice Business Lawyers announced a deal in place to pay off the debt on the Greenbrier owed to Omni Hotels, TRT Holdings. That was announced on Fridays, but Omni and White Sulphur Springs Holdings, the subsidiary of Omni Hotels, not necessarily buying that, so we'll get into that with Brad. And then Brad Howe will join us in the second hour as Morgantown will be hosting an NCAA baseball regional this weekend. WVU, along with Binghamton, Wake Forest, and Kentucky, playing in the baseball tournament here in Morgantown. We'll talk to Brad. That is in the second hour. And yes, we will get into the AAA girls shot put competition held over the weekend in Charleston as well. So lots to get into. Your chance to weigh in at 304-TALK, 304-800-765-TALK, 800-765-8255. But let's begin with some good news. We talk constantly about West Virginia's education scores, where we rank nationally, the need to improve. Well, West Virginia is being recognized for improving in some education areas for the second consecutive year. The Harvard and Stanford University Education Scorecard has recognized gains in West Virginia in math and reading. Joining us on MetroNews Talkline this morning is the Superintendent of Schools in the state of West Virginia, Michele Blatt. Michele, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Dave. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely positive gains when it comes to reading and math scores in West Virginia. So give us a little bit more detail there. What did the scorecard from Harvard and Stanford universities find?
So the scorecard was looking at our recovery and our growth coming out of the pandemic, and it found that this year West Virginia ranked 6th in math for growth and 8th in reading growth. And so this was increased from the previous year. We actually also ranked 6th in math from the previous year and maintained that ranking, but went up from the 11th in reading to 8th in reading from all of the other states. And so we're extremely pleased with that, along with the fact that chronic absenteeism has been a huge focus of ours, and we had a decrease from 29% to 23% in getting our students back in school consistently.
So a couple of things from that report, Michele. The authors of that report were talking about comprehensive science of reading reforms. How have we implemented those here in West Virginia?
In 2022, the State Board of Education, our president, Paul Hardesty, really tasked the department with getting back to the basics. He said, we've got to make sure our students have the mastery of literacy, writing, and math if they're going to be successful. And so we launched an aggressive literacy campaign called Ready, Read, Write West Virginia at that time, and it was based on the science of reading. And of course, that then played into the legislation, the Third Grade Success Act, that was passed by our legislature. So the science of reading, implementation plans across all of our counties, and support for our students in that K-3 has been a huge focus over the last few years.
And you bring up the Third Grade Success Act. Are we starting to see that the fruits of that program, if you will?
Yeah, we've had consistent gains in our third grade summative assessment scores over the past few years, and we're starting to see a decrease in students that need additional interventions. Part of that act requires students to be benchmarked 3 times a year with intervention plans, and we see the number of students that need those interventions and plans decrease as the year goes on.
Talking to State School Superintendent Michele Blatt, West Virginia being recognized for making some significant gains on recovering from the pandemic. I saw one of the study's authors, I really like this metaphor, Michele, said that the erosion of learning had already started pre-pandemic, but the pandemic kind of acted as a mudslide for that erosion. Would you agree with that metaphor, that analogy for what we had seen? And really, are we back to normal post-pandemic now, 6 years removed?
Yeah, so we had started to see really a decrease in attendance and had a big focus on chronic absenteeism leading up to the pandemic. And so we knew that we were starting to lose gain there, which of course affects the academics. And so we are about where we were nationally on test scores and things. We've about caught up, and we've of course being recognized for making that progress quicker than several other states. And I think it is the focus that this back to the basics and really with the science of reading. And then our Unite for Numeracy campaign with our math scores.
What are teachers? It's great to see these scorecards, but I'm sure you speak to educators, you hear from them. Are they seeing the same things in the classrooms that the scorecards are seeing in the numbers?
Yes, our teachers and principals and superintendents have really invested a lot of time in learning about the science of reading and changing the way they do things in the classrooms. Many of them have been through extensive professional development with a program called Letters. And so they're really starting to see the impact that it makes and starting to see the changes as those students come in, especially as they start entering second and third grade.
Michele, and we're talking to State School Superintendent Michele Blatt. You mentioned this a couple of minutes ago, and I was just kind of thinking with all of the talk around the increase in special education funding, the students who lost time, the students who are trying to make up ground here, how does a student, I guess, move away from special education, or how do you know when they've made up the ground, I guess is my question, to where they're back on a normal trajectory? Does that make sense?
Yeah, so, when we look at our benchmark assessments, we can see that, the levels the students are and how they're progressing, not only from year to year, but from, beginning of year to end of year. And then, of course, when we look at our summative assessments and we have that assessment of the level of performance those students are, I think a lot of what we'll begin to see as we continue to implement this Third Grade Success Act with reading and math is we'll have a lot more interventions in place, and maybe we'll be able to prevent students from being identified as special education so early on. If we can catch these students early and remediate the skill gaps that they have, then we'll be able to meet their needs in a regular classroom instead of a special education environment.
Do we fall into, I don't want to necessarily call it a trap, Michele, but like you mentioned, you got a student who needs remedial reading, needs remedial math, but maybe there's not other than special education, there's no place for that student to get that type of remediation. Do we fall into that paradox sometimes?
Yeah, I think we have in the past. I think that our focus right now with our initiatives, Ready, Read, Write, and Unite with Numeracy, is taking us away from that, because we're equipping all of our teachers with the skills they need to be able to provide those interventions and to implement, these plans. And then, of course, we're providing a lot of support from the department across the state with our Strive initiative, where we're going regionally and county to county, meeting the individual needs of our counties to provide the supports they need so that then they can support the students with those resources.
How are we combating and winning the battle against chronic absenteeism?
Well, we've decreased, as I said, from 29% to 23%. I think we're really starting to make an impact, and students are starting to see, and parents are starting to see the difference that it makes in our academic achievement. A lot of focus on, it really doesn't matter why you're not in school. If you're chronically absent, that means you've missed 18 days. So excused or unexcused, you're still missing instruction. And that's a lot of the message that we're trying to get out there to show the importance of being in school, as much as you can. And this year we recognized 3 schools for exemplary practice in their attendance, and they were able to make some significant gains. Even Huntington High School is one of the schools we recognized, and that's a really hard needle to move when you start looking at attendance with high school.
Yeah, high schoolers are a little bit harder to make them do things, unlike elementary school kids. Is it reaching the kids? Is it reaching the parents, the guardians? Who do you have to reach to really take a bite out of this absentee problem?
Well, I think it's a combination. You have to have engagement and activities and learning at the school that the students want to be there. And then you have to have the messaging and the commitment from the community and from the parents to make sure that they get their students to school.
State School Superintendent Michele Blatt, West Virginia among the top states for learning recovery, according to a Harvard and Stanford University study. Michele, congratulations on the gains. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Coming up, going to get an update from Fox News Radio, the latest on the situation in Iran, the ceasefire hanging on by a thread. Is there a deal? Plus the U.S. Taking up defensive strikes. At least that's how the U.S. is describing it. We'll get an update from Fox News Radio's Tonya J. Powers. Also, we'll get an update on that situation in Mason County over the weekend where a community was impacted by heavy rains and runoff from a construction site, a data center construction site. Jason Bechtle will join us with Monarch Group coming up at the bottom of the hour. Just underway. Got a lot to get to today. This is Talkline from the Cove Insurance Studios. Back in a moment.
Are you ready to reach the finish line of retirement? At the Stike team at Wealth Enhancement Group, We provide comprehensive guidance for retirement planning in West Virginia. With years of experience, we'll draft a plan tailored for your unique goals. Whether you're just starting or nearing retirement, we make the process as simple as possible, easy, and stress-free. Visit wealthenhancement.com/Stike to set up a complimentary consultation and get started on your plan today. Let's work toward your dream retirement together.
Welcome back, class of 2011.
Most likely to be a millionaire, didn't quite make it.
Hey, reunion's not over yet.
Over here, millionaire, smile.
Make room, people.
Who is that?
Congratulations to our very own Millionaire for Life!
Never too late, man.
You could win up to $1 million every year with Millionaire for Life. Play in store or online today. West Virginia Lottery. 18 plus to play. Play responsibly.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
Sunshine, open roads, and a new Toyota from Dan Cava Toyota World. Lease an all-new Camry for as low as $398 a month. All new Tundras now up to $8,000 off. All new Tacomas now up to $4,500 off or lease as low as $399 a month. $7,500 off the new BZ or 0% financing for 72 months. We've got a Toyota for you at Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
5, 3.
For your daily fix of sports in West Virginia, there's only one stop.
I would imagine a group of you got together and watched the Mountaineers last night. What were your thoughts on that performance?
It was funny, we were sitting with a guy last night, and he said, all right, I'm going to go put $1,000 on it. Well, down the stretch of that ball game, he's looking at us like, are you kidding me? And sure enough, the Mountaineers came back. I saw him today. He said, yep, I'm putting another $1,000 on them tomorrow.
Sportsline on Metro News Television.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Metro News Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Text line is 304-TALK-304. Phone number is 800-765-TALK, 800-765-8255. Coming up, second half of the hour. Yes, we will get into the shot put competition at the girls' state track meet over the weekend. We'll do that about 10:45 coming up. 304-TALK, 304 is the text line, 800-765-8255, the phone number. If you haven't seen the story, go over to WVMetroNews.com this morning. Houses in the Meadowlands Estates subdivision in Mason County sustained damage Saturday from water and mud when a fence and a silt retention area at the N-Scale construction site gave way during heavy rain. We're going to talk to Jason Bechtle. He's the Monarch site manager there about what happened and how they are addressing that issue. Today in Texas is the runoff election between Senator John Cornyn and former Attorney General Ken Paxton there in Texas. Paxton, of course, got the Trump endorsement, and Fox News Radio's Tonya J. Powers joins us on Metro News Talkline. Tonya, will that be more than enough for Ken Paxton to win this runoff today? Good morning, by the way.
Good morning. Yeah, that's the $64,000 question, isn't it? You've got Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, incumbent Republican Senator John Cornyn. Cornyn narrowly beat Paxton in the initial round in March in the primary. There was a crowded field of candidates, and because nobody got an outright majority in that, the top two vote getters go on to the runoff, which is today. Now, This is an extremely expensive race. A lot of money has been poured into this, and you may be wondering, well, everything's expensive now. In nearly 14 months, it's been, I think, about $135 million is the number I read has been poured into this race, just the Republican Senate primary. That's an astronomical amount for a Senate race. Just since the primary battle on March 3rd, the race just between Cornyn and Paxton has drawn $31 million in TV ad spending just since March 3rd. There's a lot of money going into this. Now, it kind of pits. You've got the Trump-backed candidate, which is Ken Paxton, the Texas Attorney General. It's kind of being looked at as another test to see whether the electorate in Texas would rather, vote in the, further right MAGA Trump wing of the Republican Party, or keep the kind of the establishment Republican candidate, which is the incumbent John Cornyn. He has held that seat since 2002. It was kind of, Trump kind of, signaled early on, that he kind of wanted to put a finger on the scale, so to speak, of this primary race. He even said after the runoff was announced and it was going to be Cornyn and Paxton, he said, "Well, at some point I'm going to endorse, and then I expect the other person just to get out of the race." That is not what has happened, obviously.
Certainly
Ken
not.
Paxton is the Trump-backed candidate, and Cornyn is still in there.
And, Tonya, what kind of impact is this having then back in D.C.? John Cornyn, from everything that I know and I've read, is very well liked, very well respected in the Senate. Could this ultimately hurt the president's agenda in the Senate because he has backed Ken Paxton?
That is a good question, and I'm really glad you asked it, because I think that's what's getting lost in all of this. If he does successfully primary John Cornyn, who got crossways with Trump because he criticized Trump, during the 2024 election, and as we know, Trump has a very long memory of anybody who, any perceived slight, any kind of anything he takes as harmful to him in any way, he doesn't forget it. Ask James Comey about that. And so you've got, him remembering the fact that John Cornyn was critical of him, which is why he's, trying to primary John Cornyn at this point. Now, if Cornyn successfully, pulls this off, that's going to be another interesting dynamic anyway. If he doesn't, and Paxton is the one who wins this runoff, Cornyn is, going to join the likes of like Bill Cassidy and Thomas Massey. They were just primaried as well because they, ran afoul of Trump as well, and the Trump-backed candidate won those two primaries recently as well. So you've got the. I think the Associated Press summed it up well, calling it the YOLO caucus. It's kind of like the we don't have anything left to lose caucus, because now you've got, sitting Republican, House members and senators who've been primaried, and they no longer have to vote in step with Trump if they don't want to, which could cause, all kinds of issues, with the slim majorities that we're talking about in the, in the Congress. This could make for some interesting votes in the next few months until they're out of office. If Cornyn joins them, that could be another thing. Interestingly enough, and this is one of the things that I think tells us a lot about the way we vote now and the way elections are done now. It's not a surprise. But Cornyn's website actually says that he has voted with the president more than 99% of the time. It's like 99 point something. And if you look at the records, which I don't think a lot of people do anymore. People hear the rhetoric and they get all fired up and they get, whichever candidate makes me rage more, I'm going to vote for the other guy, sort of thing. That's kind of where we are now. If you look at the record on who has voted, with the president and, what they supported and, all of that kind of stuff, you might have had a different, turnout of this. That doesn't seem to be something that gets done a lot, and it doesn't seem to matter to Trump who's voting with him, as long as, there's somebody who is, saying the things he wants to hear. Cornyn is a really good example of that.
Tonya, about 30 seconds. Ken Paxton has a lot of baggage. Is he a more vulnerable GOP candidate in the general election against Tallarico?
That is what the Democrats seem to believe. The joy with which that news was received that he was going to get the Trump endorsement last week by a lot of Democratic strategists seems to be palpable. They believe that Talarico has a much better shot of winning the general against Paxton than if it was Cornyn, and which would be huge if they could turn that Senate seat blue. That's a big deal.
Fox News Radio's Tonya J. Powers. Tonya, thank you for the update. We'll see what happens today. Appreciate it.
Sure. Thank you.
Absolutely. Coming up, I told you about that incident there in Mason County. We'll get an update from Jason Bechtle. He is the site manager for Monarch. We'll get an update coming up other side of the break. Yes, we'll get into what happened with the girls' state track meet and the AAA shot put competition later on this hour. Coming up second hour, Brad McElhinny will stop by. We'll talk to Jared Halpern, and going to be a lot of baseball played in Morgantown this week. Actually, technically, it's Granville. Got to give Granville its due. Technically, it'll be Granville where they'll be playing baseball, although I don't think they're going to call it the Granville Regional. They should. We should get that started, Jake. WVU hosting the regional this weekend. WVU, Wake Forest, University of Kentucky, and Binghamton coming to town for the NCAA baseball tournament. We'll talk to Brad Howe coming up second hour of Metro News Talkline. 800-765-TALK is the phone number. Text line is 304-TALK-304. Those are the two ways you can be part of the program over the next 90 minutes or so. Come in and join us. Glad you're here for a Monday on a Tuesday. This is Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia. It's 10:30. Let's get a news update from the Metro News Radio Network. Find out what's happening all across the great state of West Virginia.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Salango Law. Get results, not excuses.
You'll still be mindful of about 2 more days or so of some likely chances of moderate to heavy showers in the state. Some general thunderstorms possible today. Again, the ground may be saturated out there with some previous days of some up to heavy rain, and still be mindful most of West Virginia. We have a marginal to borderline slight risk of excessive rain today and tonight down near the Virginia state line. The slight risk, this is for excessive rain leading to flash flood potential today. Remember, turn around, don't drown. We had a low of 65 and a high of 75 in Charleston yesterday. Average high is 78. Southern areas of the state, we have some showers and some possibilities of thunderstorms this morning, and then becoming likely for most of us later this afternoon, this evening, and tonight. One more likely chance of showers tomorrow and ending sometime very early Friday, and then we have an extended stretch of some dry weather in the long term. Fly Serbia forecast, it starts at home. Tampa near 92 today, Chicago 82, Atlanta near 80, Washington 78 with a chance of showers today. From Panhandle to Panhandle, likely chance of showers later in the day and overnight. Highs approaching 80 and lows in the mid-60s for northern areas tonight. To the east, a chance of showers and storms later this afternoon through tonight, becoming likely for a time. Lows around the 60s tonight. From east to west, increasing chance of showers later in the day, and then likely tonight. Highs in the mid-upper 70s. Lows around the mid-60s. And to the south, showers likely out the door. Chance of a thunderstorm, and then showers with a possibility of a thunderstorm. Look likely later today and tonight yet. Charleston 78 tomorrow. Chance of showers comes to an end very early Thursday. Friday's dry near 80. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, all dry days. Mix of sun and clouds. High 70s to low 80s. Again, today and tonight, we do have that risk yet of excessive rain that could lead to that flash flood potential near 78 in Charleston today.
This is Ben Salango with Salango Law. Salango Law has earned a reputation for getting excellent results for our clients. With decades of experience handling thousands of cases, we know what it takes to deliver. Proudly voted best in the Valley for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Charleston Gazette-Mail, Salango Law is deeply committed to giving back by investing in our community. From supporting local programs to making our region a better place to live, Salango Law is proud to be your trusted legal and community partner. Check us out at salangolaw.com.
On the next State of Minds.
I think if it wasn't for West Virginia, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. Rhine has been rising over Seneca Rocks for millions of years. I wanted to capture it in a way that was authentic and maybe different than people have ever seen it before.
Who's with me on this? Now hear me out here. Kendrick Family Ballpark, the baseball stadium, is in the city limits of Granville. I think we should refer to it as the Granville Regional. Put Granville on the map. I know the mayor would agree with me on that one. Who's with me? Let's see if we can get that started. 800-765-TALK, the phone number 304-TALK, 304 is the text line. Houses in the Meadowlands Estates subdivision in Mason County sustained damage Saturday from water and mud when a fence in a silt retention area at the N-Scale construction site gave way during heavy rains. Local lawmakers put out a statement. The flooding came from an area where the site is being prepared for the Monarch Compute Campus working with N-Scale on a data center there. Jason Bechtle is the site manager for Monarch. He joins us on MetroNews Talkline this morning. Jason, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. So have you been able to kind of evaluate and see what happened and what caused the runoff that damaged these homes?
We have. So we were notified Saturday evening that there was some flooding coming into the residential estates, and we were able to get on site pretty quickly, take an initial assessment. It was pretty dark when we got there, but we were able to have crews on site the very next morning at 7 a.m. to address that silt fence break and be able to also mitigate some new ditch lines and some standing water still left on site. So that was the main cause of the water coming through. And additionally, over the past 2 days, we've been able to work with ServPro to help all of those residential houses that were impacted by this to make sure we take care of any of those items that were impacted.
Jason, when was the last time that silt fence had been inspected, and was it up to standard?
So the last time that it was inspected was just last week. The Department of Environmental Protection was on site, walked that with our contractors that take care of that for us on the environmental side, and everything was up to par and had great comments from them about the integrity of the fence.
Have you, and we're talking to Jason Bechtle, Monarch site manager, did you reach out to the homeowners, go around, or did they reach out to you? How have you made contact with them?
So the initial notification came from some of the homeowners that had reached out to me, but I've been on site the past couple of days talking with them, making sure we take care of any of those items that might have been impacted and trying to make sure that they can get in contact with me and make sure we take care of anything that was impacted.
Initial reports, it sounded like it was mostly contained to garages, some air conditioning systems, crawl spaces under homes. I don't want to say that's not major damage. If it was my house, it would be major damage, Jason. But was the damage relatively minor?
Yeah, I think that's appropriate to say relatively minor to your point about water was coming in where it shouldn't have been coming in. But yeah, we're looking at a few crawl spaces that we've been able to have mediation already taken care of, making sure that those are dried out. 2 garages that are going to be getting cleaned up and making sure that all the contents there are dry and safe for future use.
Jason, in a construction site like this, what preparations are made to make certain that neighboring properties are not negatively impacted while this type of construction is going on?
So currently we have a silt fence that borders our entire property. Right there on the line to make sure water or any type of silt, sandy material, or any other material on site doesn't flow through to the other side of the property, as well as ditches and berms that are on site for us due to some elevation changes. And, of course, even on flat ground, the water's got to go somewhere. So making sure that we mitigate that water to the designed basins is what our plans are, is what we're currently doing on site.
So not only is there engineering that goes into the final product, there's engineering that goes into just the construction site itself while the work is going on.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great point, because some of the things that are on site right now in terms of ditches, those are are going to have structures on top of them. So we have to kind of adapt as we build this site out to make sure that we're continuing to be efficient and make sure that we're taking care of anything on site.
Jason Bechtle, he is Monarch site manager. Jason, we appreciate the update. Thank you so much for your time.
Yep, thank you.
Absolutely. Coming up, 304 Talk 304. We'll get some of your text, 800-765-TALK, 800-765-8255. That is the phone number. Over the weekend, the AAA girls shot put competition got a lot of attention online. We'll talk about that right after this.
Tens of thousands of hardworking West Virginians earn their living in our state's growing natural gas industry, including thousands for Antero Resources, West Virginia's top natural gas producer. Antero's investments are boosting our local workforce and small businesses. We're proud to give back and invest locally to support West Virginia workers producing West Virginia energy. But the Mountain State's best days are ahead, and Antero Resources is just getting started. Visit AnteroResources.com to learn more.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
For over 4 decades, we've been rooted deep inside West Virginia. Through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving your neighborhood since 1979. Your trusted partner in the community.
The health plan. We are here for you.
Hey, this is Brad Howe for your local internet provider, CityNet. High-speed fiber internet is probably at your front door, and now's the time to connect. Your tax dollars helped expand broadband access across West Virginia, and CityNet makes it real. More rural communities in West Virginia can finally get the high-speed internet they deserve. With free equipment, free installation, no contract, and local support you can trust. So whether you're streaming, working, gaming, or running your business, CityNet delivers the speed and reliability you need. When it's high-speed internet you need, CityNet.net connects, protects, and perfects.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Nasal obstruction, stuffiness, blockage. Is it allergy? Is it sinus? A lot of times it may be both. The Delview Medicine Sinus and Allergy Center is a clinic where we house all specialties that take care of allergies and sinuses together. You name it, we have it. It's one-stop shopping. Anything ENT that needs done for the citizens of West Virginia, we can provide that care.
In 1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
Download Metro News Television on your iPhone or Android. Search Metro News Television in your App Store. Create an account today to get alerts and watch all live and archived content. Download now.
Touchdown! We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
The region's largest restoration firm, responding from 5 locations. When disaster strikes your home or business, call Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
Longer days, warmer drives, and better deals at Dan Cava GMC. Hit the road in one of our new luxury GMC Acadias. Take your pick from our massive selection. Now up to $5,500 off select new Acadias and 3.9% for 60 months. The great deals continue with our large selection of quality pre-owned vehicles. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop the world.
Metro News Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Text lines open, 304 Talk 304. We'll get to your thoughts coming up in just a moment. Over the weekend, the state track meet took place, and the AAA girls shot put competition got a lot of attention. Why did it get a lot of attention? Well, Becky Pepper Jackson, a sophomore at Bridgeport High School, won the girls' class AAA state championship in shot put. Jackson won it with a personal record, 38 feet 11 inches. All of that is not necessarily that newsworthy until you get to the point which you already know. Becky Pepper Jackson is a boy who identifies as a girl. That caught fire online about a day after the actual results, with many people weighing in with their reactions. So I have thoughts. First thought is nobody, I don't want to say nobody, but most people, this is not even an argument or a discussion. Jackson should not be competing with the girls. However you want to slice it up, Becky Pepper Jackson was born a boy, is a boy, and will forever be a boy. Doesn't matter. No matter what you say, that does not change. Now, that discussion for me is over. That argument's not even worth having. Society has moved on from the foolishness of that argument. That is an 80-20 issue. What I was taken by was the reaction that somehow this could have been prevented by the WVSSAC, the Harrison County Board of Education, the State Board of Education, or the state legislature. Listen closely. Anybody who tells you that any of those entities could have or should have prevented this are lying to you. They are flat out lying to you, because West Virginia has handled this issue on more than one occasion. In 2021, the state legislature passed the law, the Save Women's Sports Act. The act mandates that school sport teams must be based on biological sex at birth. Under the law, males are not permitted to compete with girls or on women's teams. State went a step further in 2025. Governor Morrissey signed the bill, the Riley-Gaines Act, which defines legally man and woman and restricts individuals to locker rooms and spaces of their own sex. But that 2021 law, and the reason Jackson was able to compete in the girls' competition, is because that law was challenged in court. At the local level, it got through the 4th U.S. Circuit Court and is currently pending with the United States Supreme Court. A federal judge blocked its enforcement while that case works its way up and has worked its way to the U.S. Supreme Court. Oral arguments were held in January and will likely get a ruling from the United States Supreme Court this summer. I gave you that history to say anyone who tells you that the Secondary Schools Activities Commission allowed this to happen or permitted it to happen is lying to you. Anyone who tells you that the Board of Education, whether at the local level or state level, is responsible is lying to you. West Virginia has addressed this issue. The legislature has weighed in on this issue. Passed a state law. Now, once a federal judge steps in and says you cannot enforce that, the legislature, the Board of Education, the SSAC, doesn't matter. Nobody's going to override that. And any insinuation, assertion, or claim otherwise, I say again, you are being lied to. And that's what grabbed my attention, was the willful ignorance of some who are looking for nothing more than to boost their own whatever self-glorification online over the weekend, insisting that those entities should have or could have stepped in. Absolutely not. You can't overrule the 4th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. And the U.S. Supreme Court is going to have the ultimate say. We'll get a ruling this summer, one way or the other. Yay or nay, from the United States Supreme Court. Oral arguments were in January. We'll probably get something this summer. So the idea that any of these entities could have or should have stepped in is complete fallacy. Secondly, not done yet, I also have an issue with the state lawmakers and others who suddenly have this passionate interest in high school athletics. I have been involved in high school and varsity sports almost my entire life, either as a player, as a member of the media here in West Virginia, as the husband of a coach. I have been involved and played and sat through games and covered them and supported programs. If more of you who feel so passionately about this particular issue would actually support your local high school teams and programs, they'd have to build bigger arenas, bigger gymnasiums to fit everybody into. I go to these games. Who attends? Parents and grandparents. Which is great. But these school systems are struggling. Student athletes actually have to pay fees in some instances to participate because they have to pay. They have to pay for equipment. You got to pay for buses. You got to pay for this. If some of you who felt so passionately to get online, you keyboard warriors felt so passionately, get out and support your local high schools. Athletic boosters. Go to the game. Buy a ticket. That goes a long way. That goes a long way to keeping the lights on. Donate to the athletic boosters rather than virtue signal online. That's my rant. Back to the start. Nobody is making the argument that boys should be competing with girls. That argument is settled in this state. Quite frankly, it's settled across much of the country. It's an 80-20 issue. My issue in particular was the assertion and the claim that this could have been prevented by any one of these organizations, that these organizations need to be blown up, torn down, and abolished because of this issue that they have no control over at this point. None. And you really want to support your student athletes, you really want to support these programs, go to the games, buy a ticket, support the athletic boosters. That goes a lot further than online keyboard warriors. Your thoughts, 304-TALK, 304-800-765-TALK's the phone number. We're back in a moment.
Right now, America is hungry for energy, more power, more reliability, and more security. So here's a question worth asking. Why not coal? And why not now? West Virginia sits on one of the most abundant energy resources in the world. Generations of miners, proven infrastructure, and coal-fired power plants already delivering dependable, around-the-clock electricity. At a time when demand is surging and reliability matters more than ever, coal isn't a question mark, it's a solution. Today, there's robust support in West Virginia and Washington to strengthen American energy independence using the resources we already have. So again, we ask, why not coal? And why not now? Because when it comes to powering our homes, our hospitals, our economy, and new opportunities, West Virginia Coal is ready. A message from the Friends of Coal, powering America today and tomorrow.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
I'm Sean Kovich, Mountaineer Golf Coach. When disaster strikes your home, business, or golf game, call the restoration company the Mountaineers call. Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
What does it mean to lead in medicine? J.W. Ruby Memorial Hospital is the top hospital in West Virginia, nationally recognized for 3 programs and 18 procedures and conditions. But to us, leadership means being first in care, in lives saved, in lives restored. In medicine, we lead in the ways that truly matter.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. and they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
.304 Talk 304. That is the text line. 800-765 Talk. 800-765-8255. Jackpots are growing in West Virginia. Jackpots are on the rise every week. Powerball hits Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. Mega Millions lights up Tuesdays and Fridays. That's 5 chances a week to get in on life-changing jackpots. Play in-store and online. 18 plus to play. Please play responsibly. Powerball jackpot's $154 million. Mega Millions jackpot is $311 million, so go ahead, play today. Text line, 304 Talk 304. Holy man, you're really on that one. What, did you have a Red Bull with your coffee? Asks the texter. Not a Red Bull fan, by the way. I do like energy drinks. We need to get a sponsorship deal for that. I'll tell you what. Can I tell you who I like? Well, if they bought some advertising, I'd tell you who I like. I do like energy, but Red Bull is not my energy drink of choice. 304 Talk 304. Let's get some text in here before the top of the hour. Dave, what everyone needs to know is that he, BPJ, threw an 8-pound girls shot 38 feet 10 inches and won the girls' championship. The boys' champion threw a 12-pound shot 52 feet 11 inches. It's not bigotry, it's biology. You gotta love sports. Sorry, couldn't get through the text without a Seinfeld-ism. Thank you very much. I appreciate the reference. And you're right, you got to love sports. 304 Talk 304. Dave, best ever on Talkline. Best ever, great job. The legislature needs to keep their nose out of high school athletics and put some money into public education. Dave got his steam on. He's going to have a great day. And every word he said is 100%, 1,000% right. Thank you for saying what needed to be said, says the texter. Dave, well said. Great job. Clapping emojis. Look, the reason I get so worked up about this, on the one issue is a settled issue for me and for just about everybody else. That's not even really up for debate. We're not having this debate about when this individual started taking medication, biology, what about this, what about that? That debate is settled, and we have settled that here in West Virginia. It was the online reaction that really made me itch and got me worked up. The fact that there are sitting lawmakers who have never, probably couldn't find their way to the local high school football field if they tried with GPS, suddenly want to weigh in on this issue, and they make it about themselves. It's not about the kids. It's not about the student athletes. They want to make it about themselves, and then just the flat out lies that we're told. That's what got me worked up. That's what got me worked up about this issue. And then you drag in other student athletes, other kids into this conversation because you want to draft a resolution. I don't know if I have no idea what the kids think about this. I have no idea what those other student athletes think about it. But you want to weigh in online, and I'm talking specifically about state lawmakers and candidates here. You want to weigh in, not to mention the political hacks and failed commentators who also have been spewing misinformation for the last 2 days. Got me worked up. 304 Talk 304. They don't care about high school athletics or high school athletes. They care about hate. I don't think they care about hate. No, I think, again, that's an oversimplification of what is a very complicated and nuanced topic in a lot of ways. It's not about hate, but it is about using this specific incident for your own public magnification heading into a general election in November. It's not about hate. I mean, that is such a simple, overused argument. It's not about that at all. 304 Talk 304 is the text line. 800-765-TALK is the phone number. Coming up, second hour of the program. We'll shift gears. We'll talk to Brad McElhinny. Get the latest on as the Greenbrier turns. There was an announcement over the technically it was over the weekend. I count Friday afternoon as the weekend. There was an announcement that the Justice family businesses have secured funding to pay off the debt. And as the senator once said, he was the governor at the time, it's all good in the neighborhood. We'll talk to Brad McElhinny about that. Also, Brad Howe will stop by. WVU going to be hosting the NCAA Regional Baseball Tournament this weekend. Friday is day one of the NCAA Regionals. I'm calling it the Granville Regional here on out because it's technically Granville. Shout out to Granville. We'll talk to Brad Howe. We'll talk a little baseball. Mountaineers had a great run in the Big 12 tournament, and, well, Kansas Bats eventually won the day there. We'll talk to Brad in the second hour. Jared Halpern also with Fox News Radio, the latest on what is happening in the Middle East and Iran. Speaking of high school sports, the high school softball state tournament gets underway this week. We have coverage across the Metro News Radio Network, play-by-play radio coverage at WVMetroNews.com. Joe Mercado and Greg Carey will have it covered from the first pitch to the final out this week and next. Then the high school baseball state tournament starts on June 6th. Teams are qualifying for that as we speak. Second hour Metro News Talkline coming up. I'm going to go drink some water. No Red Bull, though. Come back in 6 minutes. This is Talkline on Metro News. For 40 years, the voice of West Virginia.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Selango Law. Get results, not excuses.
You'll still be mindful of about 2 more days or so of some likely chances of moderate to heavy showers in the state, some general thunderstorms possible today. Again, the ground may be saturated out there with some previous days of some up to heavy rain, and still be mindful most of West Virginia. We have a marginal to borderline slight risk of excessive rain today and tonight down near the Virginia state line. The slight risk, this is for excessive rain leading to flash flood potential today. Remember, turn around, don't drown. We had a low of 65 and a high of 75 in Charleston yesterday. Average high is 78. Southern areas of the state, we have some showers and some possibilities of thunderstorms this morning, and then becoming likely for most of us later this afternoon, this evening, and tonight. One more likely chance of showers tomorrow and ending sometime very early Friday, and then we have an extended stretch of some dry weather in the long term. Fly Serbia forecast, it starts at home. Tampa near 92 today, Chicago 82, Atlanta near 80, Washington 78 with a chance of showers today. From Panhandle to Panhandle, likely chance of showers later in the day and overnight. Highs approaching 80 and lows in the mid-60s for northern areas tonight. To the east, a chance of showers and storms later this afternoon through tonight, becoming likely for a time. Lows around the 60s tonight. From east to west, increasing chance of showers later in the day and then likely tonight. Highs in the mid-upper 70s. Lows around the mid-60s, and to the south, showers likely out the door, chance of a thunderstorm, and then showers with a possibility of a thunderstorm. Look likely later today and tonight yet. Charleston, 78 tomorrow. Chance of showers comes to an end very early Thursday. Friday's dry near 80. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, all dry days. Mix of sun and clouds, high 70s to low 80s. Again, today and tonight, we do have that risk yet of excessive rain that could lead to that flash flood potential near 78 in Charleston today.
This is Ben Selango with Selango Law. Selango Law has earned a reputation for getting excellent results for our clients. With decades of experience handling thousands of cases, we know what it takes to deliver. Proudly voted best in the Valley for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Charleston Gazette-Mail, Selango Law is deeply committed to giving back by investing in our community. From supporting local programs to making our region a better place to live, Selango Law is proud to be your trusted legal and community partner. Check us out at selangolaw.com.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Second hour of Metro News Talkline on a Tuesday that feels like a Monday for a lot of us. 800-765-TALK is the phone number, 800-765-8255. You can text the show at 304-TALK 304. We'll get to your text coming up. Jared Halpern, Fox News Radio, will stop by. The latest on the situation in Iran. Plus, we've got Brad Squared this hour. Brad Howe, bottom of the hour. We'll talk baseball with Brad. WVU will be hosting the Granville Regional, as I am calling it from now on. Coming up this weekend, Mountaineers excited. Morgantown, Montague County, West Virginia, excited about the NCAA baseball tournament. Talk about that bottom of the hour. Get to your calls, texts, and tweets as well at 800-765-TALK, 304-TALK, 304. New at WVMetroNews.com this morning. Omni owners are skeptical about Justice claim of securing millions to resolve debt on the Greenbrier. Metro News statewide correspondent Brad McElhinny has the story posted, and he joins us on Metro News Talkline this morning. Brad, good morning, and hope you had a nice Memorial Day weekend.
Oh, hello. Thank you. Lovely weekend. So we're having me and Brad Howe, Brad Smith, Brad Paisley. Ring the bell, call in about any topic.
We'll take all the Brads we can get. Let's go back to Friday, Brad, if you will indulge me just a little bit, because Friday going into the holiday weekend, sometimes news can get lost in the shuffle, but lawyers for the Justice Family Businesses announced that, to borrow a line from the senator from several years ago, it was all good in the neighborhood, that there had been financing secured to take care of this debt with Omni. That's the very broad view, if you can give a few more details. So what was that announcement on Friday?
Well, sounded promising, and maybe it is. In fairness, maybe it is promising. But the justices, through their attorneys, made a statement to the public that they had secured financing. In other words, a big loan that would take care of the debt at the center of the ongoing dispute with Omni Hotels and Resorts over control of the Greenbrier. The financing was characterized as also potentially taking care of other obligations like the tax liens, $4 million or so in tax liens that have been levied on the Greenbrier for taxes collected but not remitted, and also for improvements, longstanding improvements to the physical structure of the Greenbrier. So sounding good, right? That was the public speaking end of it that the justices and their attorneys made on Friday. It was accompanied by a filing in the federal court case, the filing by Omni, which has said we need a receiver to control our collateral. What the justices, on behalf of via their attorneys, what they wanted to do was delay all the upcoming hearings and deadlines. That's a little bit inside baseball, but they wanted to delay. And the reason was they said, we got this financing coming up. It's going to close in June. We don't need all these hearings. Give us some time. What we didn't hear was, well, is this final? Is this leading to a settlement? Does Omni agree? Where's the money coming from? How much is it? Even with all the information we got on Friday, there was a lot that we still didn't know. And among those was how would Omni, owner of the nearby homestead, how would it react? Well, the answer is, if you can imagine an eye roll as part of a legal filing, that's what they filed on Saturday. They said the purported financing could vanish at any moment. In other words, they think that it's shaky. They don't know where this money is supposedly coming from. They, at that point, had not seen any of the documents, don't know how much the money is. They say that, what it would take to pay down has not even been fully agreed to. So heavy eye roll from Omni. And to me, the bottom line is that means this is not over.
MetroNews statewide correspondent Brad McElhinny. So as I look at this, and by the way, TJ on vacation this week, our finance unofficial financial advisor, Brad. But as I look at this, it does buy the justices some more time here. And I think that's kind of the crux of the Omni argument is this is just an effort to buy more time. Let's actually see the money is, I guess, the crux of the Omni very simplified argument here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in their filing, they say they would take the money if it were laid on the table. We do learn a couple of things in the course of this flurry of filings that occurred over the weekend. One is that the lawyers for the justices say it's around $500 million. It's up to $500 million that the justices could get from whoever this new lender is. They also characterize the new lender as being, big and stable and well qualified, good reputation. That's what they say, but they never name this lender. So that's the kind of thing where both at this point the judge and Omni are still in the dark. The justices, through their attorneys, also say, well, if there are any doubts about this, we will allow the court, which I think means the judge, an in-camera review of the term sheet. And so that means privately looking at what the justices have in writing from whoever this lender is. Dave and Brad may never know who the lender is unless it comes by way of Senator Justice's financial filings for his ethics report for the U.S. Senate. But in this case, you're kind of left wondering, but the judge, U.S. District Judge Frank Volk, may get to see this.
So what's next? Parties have a deadline? I mean, you get a chance to respond. That's like a week or 10 days, right?
Well, Judge Volk asked both Omni through White Sulphur Springs Holdings and the state, which is trying to get its tax lien dollars back, to respond by Saturday about the deadlines. This past Saturday.
Okay.
This past Saturday, the lawyer for the state had actually gone on vacation, missed the email, went someplace we can only dream of where email was inaccessible. So the state actually put in a filing a little later saying, oh, sorry, it was a holiday weekend and we did not know about this greatly enhanced deadline. So that's what happened via the holiday weekend. But it was a really aggressive deadline to respond to the Greenbrier's request for just holding back on all of these deadlines. I think what'll happen next pretty quickly, since the judge offered such an aggressive timeline Saturday to respond, I think he could, potentially today say, well, we're gonna keep the deadlines we had, or he could say we're gonna kick things back for 60 days and let's see if this funding really comes to be by the end of June. Could do, potentially something in the middle, but nevertheless, it's a hot issue right now. But I think the main thing that we've learned over the weekend is that the owners of Omni hotels and resorts are not taking this thing at face value.
Well, I will say this. We're talking to MetroNews statewide correspondent Brad McElhinny. Brad, this has been kind of how this plays out when it comes to Governor/Senator Jim Justice's finances and business. It looks like this is the one. Not going to be able to climb out of it, and somehow, some way, he figures it out. The businesses figure it out, and this kind of looks like it's headed down that same pattern. A long way to go. Don't get me wrong, Brad, but looks like this could be headed down that same type of pattern.
Yeah, it could be. Still a lot of questions. Who is this lender? Is the money adequate to do everything that they want to do? Is it solid? And there are two entities here. Can they agree on what the pay down number even is, given, fines and interest and that kind of thing? So still a lot of ifs here, but given how dire it seemed at the beginning when this was first filed, it does appear that there's some leeway to potentially resolve the matter.
MetroNews statewide correspondent Brad McElhinny. Brad, before I let you go, just a couple of minutes, you also wrote over the weekend, it was posted at wvmetronews.com, House of Delegates members seem like they still have a lot of questions that are unanswered about TANF funding. Of course, Governor Morrissey, I wouldn't call that the announcement. That wasn't the announcement. He was announcing the results of those audits, but did briefly mention temporary assistance for needy families, having a structural deficit of $40 million and needing to resolve that, which seemed to catch a lot of the House members by surprise, and they get a lot of questions before they want to make some big changes.
Yeah, they do. And, so Roger Hanshaw, the Speaker of the House, is one of the smartest people I know. And he is good at a great many things. But on one of our programs, Metro News Midday, he said he is also confused about what the governor is getting at here and what the governor hopes to accomplish, what the grounding is of the governor's statements. And it's, fairly serious. It's $40 million. That is out of a $5.5 billion general revenue fund, but $40 million is not nothing. The governor hinted at potential cuts to child care assistance and a voucher program for low-income families to afford school clothes. One thing that Speaker Hanshaw said is it would be a tough sell for the House to get on board with those kinds of cuts. But the Speaker furthermore said, the governor made this statement during a press conference, but the House had not been informed through any kind of formal channels, either through written communication or some kind of, backgrounder, really had been not in the loop on this matter. And, it seems like it's been a little while, but it was just a couple of months ago that the House was finalizing its budget that includes, the regular budgeting for temporary assistance for needy families. So it gave me some relief that I was not the only one who didn't really understand where the governor was coming from and the basis of his math. I'd kind of like to see an audit just on this, or to have some sort of briefing in public.
MetroNews statewide correspondent Brad McElhinny. You can read his work every day over at the website, wvmetronews.com. Brad, always appreciate it, buddy. Good to talk to you.
Hey, thanks.
Let's get a couple of texts in here. 304-TALK, 304 is the text line, 800-765-8255. Jared Halpern, Fox News Radio, going to join us a couple of minutes from now. Dave, the reason high school attendance rates are up so much is because the kids who don't want to come out to school are now being paid to stay home. It's called the Hope Scholarship. Can't blame the Hope Scholarship on that. Dave, when did the original change to allow boys to play in girls' sports? Was that an administrative policy change under the Biden administration that created this controversy? Wasn't sure what started it. Texter says, what a jerk you are. West Virginia is not over this. I don't like this. I don't know where you got that. Lies are not at birth. Boys are boys and girls are girls. Now go on and blast me. No, I'm not going to blast you. You misheard me. I said this is already settled. This issue about boys playing in girls' sports in West Virginia is settled because the state legislature passed a law in 2021. Now, the reason that law is not being enforced is because it's being challenged through the judicial system and is currently pending with the United States Supreme Court, which heard oral arguments in January and will probably issue a ruling on it, I would say, later this summer, maybe next month. I said the issue is settled. Nobody's making the argument that boys should be allowed to play girls' sports, or at least very few are. I'm certainly not making that argument, and I said that at the top of the rant. So, no, I'm not going to blast you. I didn't say you're over it. I said this issue is settled in West Virginia. 304 Talk, 304. To say the SSAC could do nothing is not true. They could have easily awarded first-place medal so that the actual girls winner, they could have allowed 17 to compete so the real girl was not excluded. Yeah, I guess they could have, but the idea, again, that they could have prevented Jackson from throwing is a lie. Is a lie. Because of the law being challenged in the judicial system. 304 Talk, 304 is the text line, 800-765-8255. 800-765-TALK, 800-765-TALK. That's the phone number. That's the text line. Jared Halpern on the latest in Iran. Back in a moment.
Tens of thousands of hardworking West Virginians earn their living in our state's growing natural gas industry, including thousands for Antero Resources, West Virginia's top natural gas producer. Antero's investments are boosting our local workforce and small businesses. We're proud to give back and invest locally to support West Virginia workers producing West Virginia energy. But the Mountain State's best days are ahead, and Antero Resources is just getting started. Visit AnteroResources.com to learn more.
Approach your retirement with confidence. With over 150 years of combined experience, the advisors of the Stike team at Wealth Enhancement Group provide advice and wealth management strategies to individuals, families, small businesses, professional offices, and institutions. With the Stike team, you'll have access to an advising team with extensive resources, a client-first mindset, and a passion for helping transform the lives of those we serve. Visit wealthenhancement.com/Stike today and join the team that's dedicated to your success.
You're listening to Talkline on MetroNews, the voice of West Virginia.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
In 1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
Sunshine, open roads, and a new Toyota from Dan Calva Toyota World. Lease an all-new Camry for as low as $398 a month. All new Tundras now up to $8,000 off. All new Tacomas now up to $4,500 off or lease as low as $399 a month. $7,500 off the new BZ or 0% financing for 72 months. We've got a Toyota for you at Dan Calva Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
Brad Howe, bottom of the hour. WVU hosting NCAA Baseball Regional this weekend. We'll talk a little baseball with Brad Howe, bottom of the hour. Let's go to Washington, D.C. Fox News Radio's Jared Halpern joins us with the latest from the White House. Jared, good morning. Let's start with the situation in Iran. The U.S. confirming defensive strikes. What's the latest from the Middle East?
Yeah, CENTCOM said that there were some strikes last night on Iranian military targets. They are described as defensive and in response to what CENTCOM says was the laying of mines in the waterways. And so it said that the statement was clear that this is not ending the ceasefire. This is not a resumption of major combat operations, but that the United States remains positioned to respond to defensive capabilities. So that's sort of what we got from the White House.
Iran warning of retaliation. Is the ceasefire still intact?
It is. Obviously, it's fragile. It's been fragile for a while, but these negotiations are also continuing. We understand that there are key members of that negotiating team that are meeting today and continue to meet as they hammer out this memorandum. But until everything's signed, we are not going to expect kind of into the status quo, the reopening of the strait, the reopening of the blockade.
Talking to Fox News Radio's Jared Halpern. Jared, there was a lot of reaction on the Sunday shows I was watching yesterday to this possible deal, but does anybody really know what is in the deal?
I mean, we've seen a lot of reporting with kind of broad strokes that it would set up kind of a landing, a runway for future talks to deal with Iran's nuclear capabilities, and in the interim, in kind of the economic warfare that's happening between the Strait of Hormuz and the U.S. naval blockade. I think that there are still conversations going on about kind of the timing of everything, when sanctions relief may end up happening for Iran, which is something that they are demanding, and certainly what happens with the nuclear dust, as President Trump calls it, the highly enriched uranium, which is believed to be buried under an awful lot of rubble.
Talking to Fox News Radio's Jared Halpern. Jared, back home, there is the runoff election in Texas today, or for the Republic. We just lost him. Never mind. Terrible phone line anyway. We just lost Jared Halpern. Fox News Radio's Jared Halpern. 800-765-TALK is the phone number. 304-TALK. 304 is the text line. Let's go to the phones. Bob in Charleston. Hey, Bob. What's on your mind this morning?
Jackson, my two sons played multiple sports in school, and if one of them ever came to me and said they felt like a girl and they wanted to participate with girls, I'd belted them across the chops and told them to stop feeling like a girl. They were going to play with boys. So in this case, Mommy and Daddy could have stopped them and should have, but they were co-conspirators. Thank you.
You are welcome. Appreciate the phone call, Bob. 800-765-TALK, 800-765-8255. Text line 304-TALK 304. Text line says, if girls can play football, can boys play girls volleyball? If there's no boys volleyball in West Virginia, why can't boys play girls volleyball? Is that a Title IX case? I think you know the answer to that. I understand what you're trying to drive at there, but there's a big difference. There's a big difference. And we all know that there's a big difference. And this is not the debate that I wanted to have today, because this argument is settled. Right? There's a big difference between a girl, and look, if she can play linebacker, more power to her. If she can be a kicker, I don't care. More power to her. But there's a big difference between that and then a 6'4", 17-year-old boy playing girls volleyball. There's a big difference, and you know there's a big difference. 304-TALK, 304 is the text line, 800-765-8255. Texter says, sounds like you are arguing for a metro government in Morgantown area with all the boroughs together. I did that once. I'm not doing it again. That is a losing argument in the greater Morgantown metroplex. Not doing it again. And it was when I was young, and this happens. And as I get older, I see it happen. When I was a bit of a younger reporter / talk show host, why do we have a metro government in Morgantown? Why not just get a metro government together with Morgantown and Westover and Granville and Star City and Osage? Like I was the first one that had ever thought of that idea. Yeah. Never going to happen. It's a great idea. Probably would work. Probably would save millions of dollars in the long run, but never going to happen. So no, not making that argument again. I'm just saying the baseball stadium is in the town of Granville. That is where it is. So for all intents and purposes, I'm calling it the Granville Regional. We'll talk about it with Brad Howe coming up. Not that. We'll actually talk baseball with Brad Howe. Incredible season by the Mountaineers. Runner-up in the Big 12 Conference Tournament on over the weekend. Kansas Bats just finally came to life in that one. We'll talk to Brad about the season so far and what he expects as regional play begins on Friday. WV will take on Binghamton, Wake Forest, and the University of Kentucky coming up in the regional on Friday in Granville. That's next. 800-765-TALK's the phone number. 304-TALK. 304 is the text line. More of your text. Phone calls are welcome as well. This is Talkline from the Cove Insurance Studios on Metro News. For 40 years, the voice of West Virginia. It is 11:30 and time to get a news update. Let's check in with the Metro News Radio Network. Find out what's happening all across the great state of West Virginia.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Salango Law. Get results, not excuses.
I'll still be mindful of about 2 more days or so of some likely chances of moderate to heavy showers in the state, some general thunderstorms possible today. Again, the ground may be saturated out there with some previous days of some up to heavy rain, and still be mindful most of West Virginia. We have a marginal to borderline slight risk of excessive rain today and tonight down near the Virginia state line. The slight risk, this is for excessive rain leading to flash flood potential today. Remember, turn around, don't drown. We had a low of 65 and a high of 75 in Charleston yesterday. Average high is 78. Southern areas of the state, we have some showers and some possibilities of thunderstorms this morning, and then becoming likely for most of us later this afternoon, this evening, and tonight. One more likely chance of showers tomorrow and ending sometime very early Friday, and then we have an extended stretch of some dry weather in the long term. Fly Serbia forecast, it starts at home. Tampa near 92 today, Chicago 82, Atlanta near 80, Washington 78 with a chance of showers today. From Panhandle to Panhandle, likely chance of showers later in the day and overnight. Highs approaching 80 and lows in the mid-60s for northern areas tonight. To the east, a chance of showers and storms later this afternoon through tonight, becoming likely for a time. Lows around the 60s tonight. From east to west, increasing chance of showers later in the day and then likely tonight. Highs in the mid-upper 70s. Lows around the mid-60s, and to the south, showers likely out the door, chance of a thunderstorm, and then showers with a possibility of a thunderstorm. Look likely later today and tonight yet. Charleston 78 tomorrow, chance of showers comes to an end very early Thursday. Friday's dry near 80. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, all dry days, mix of sun and clouds, high 70s to low 80s. Again, today and tonight, we do have that risk yet of excessive rain that could lead to that flash flood potential near 78 in Charleston today.
This is Ben Salango with Salango Law. Salango Law has earned a reputation for getting excellent results for our clients. With decades of experience handling thousands of cases, we know what it takes to deliver. Proudly voted best in the Valley for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Charleston Gazette-Mail, Salango Law is deeply committed to giving back by investing in our community. From supporting local programs to making our region a better place to live, Salango Law is proud to be your trusted legal and community partner. Check us out at salangolaw.com.
On the next State of Minds.
I think if it wasn't for West Virginia, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. Rhine has been rising over Seneca Rocks for millions of years. I wanted to capture it in a way that was authentic and maybe different than people have ever seen it before.
More of your texts coming up at 304-TALK, 304-800-765-TALK, 800-765-8255. That is the phone number. Let's talk a little more about the greatest game ever invented, as WVU going to be hosting a regional this weekend. The NCAA tournament, the field of 64 was set yesterday. WVU is a number 16 national seed. Binghamton, Wake Forest, Kentucky, all coming to town for the weekend regional. MetroNews Sports, he is one of the three guys. He's on Sportsline. He's a baseball savant. Brad Howe joins us on MetroNews Talkline. Morning, Brad.
Hello, Dave. Good to speak with you.
Now, let's talk a little baseball. One, just exciting to have the baseball regionals coming back to, I'm calling it the Granville Regional from here on out, by the way. Coming back to Montague County, Morgantown, Granville, whatever you want to call it, for the first time since 2019.
Yeah, no question. By the way, you're the only one that's going to be calling it Granville, so don't feel bad being on an island there. Hey, you know what I would tell you, though? The Granville folks, they don't care what you call it because they're just happy there's
you got that right. Yeah.
And all the shopping and the restaurants. It's going to be a madhouse here, Dave. Tickets already gone, standing room only, going for hundreds of dollars on the secondary market. And this baseball program just continues to elevate itself up, and it's just really a remarkable run. And Steve Saban said yesterday at the watch party by the way, there was a line to get into the watch party yesterday. That's how far this program has come. And Steve said yesterday that Randy Mazey mentioned something before the last time West Virginia hosted, and he said programs are rarely the same after you host. That's a lot of times the launching point for a program to go into a new stratosphere, and that's certainly the case with this baseball program now, with back-to-back super regionals, within a game of winning the Big 12 Conference Tournament regular season and conference tournament this year, and now getting to host again. Just a remarkable rise for this program, and this is a nice celebration to cap off what's been a great season, but now you have some work to do in what is one of the tougher regionals in the entire country.
And Brad, we'll get to actual baseball in a moment, but you bring up a great point in your area of expertise there, along with baseball, but marketing. Your stadium is on display for an entire weekend. Your town is on display. Your fans are on display. That's part of the reason these regionals are launching points. Your entire program on display for the country for 4 days.
Yeah, you're right, Dave. And listen, that park is as beautiful as it gets, so that's going to be an attraction. When that thing is filled up with Mountaineer fans, other schools are going to take notice. And then I'll add another one. You put that biomechanical center on display that's right out the right field side. And listen, that becomes even more important than it's ever been because of the transfer portal. And we talk so much negativity about the portal, but the benefit, and specifically for this program, is to have that building sitting out there, have these visiting teams be in there and see what that is like. Guys entering the portal, you don't think they want to be a part of that building that Paul Skeens came down to because his major league team didn't have one of those? He came to Morgantown to check that out and use that facility. So, yeah, aside of just the baseball, the buzz and the marketing and the brand building for the West Virginia baseball program, it's immense, and this is just another step or another brick in that foundation.
I'll take that one step further. If I'm a producer, Brad, and, baseball, there's time to fill, and you're telling stories, I'm doing a feature on. I got my sideline reporter. I got somebody out there showing me this unique facility for the Mountaineers. All around, it's I'm all in on this, Brad. I love baseball. I love college baseball. I love regional baseball. I'm all in, buddy.
Totally agree. This is a lot of fun, and we know the atmosphere is going to be so fun, and it's just great for Mountaineer fans, right? And what a historic year if you want to pull out and go big picture again, hosting 4 different regionals on campus, both soccer, women's basketball, now baseball. If I'm not mistaken, only time in the history of the school that has happened. So really a great time for those programs, and then again just for baseball and the job that Steve Saban has done, and I would say taking the baton from Randy Mazey, but Sabes was such a integral part of that program the whole way and every step of the way as an assistant. So it's not so much taking the baton, it's just continuing what Randy built as the head coach and putting it into a new light and moving it forward. And you've got another great opportunity coming up this weekend with, by the way, what looks like great weather. Your AccuWeather folks can tell you more definitively than me, but the forecast now looks like it's going to be perfect baseball weather.
Yeah, from Thursday on, it's going to be perfect. Brad, what do you know about Kentucky, Wake Forest, and Binghamton? You mentioned this is one of the toughest regions. I agree with you. You got Wake Forest coming out of the ACC, Kentucky coming out of the SEC. Binghamton's kind of an unknown. I haven't followed Binghamton baseball. I got a lot going on, Brad. So what do you know about this region?
Yeah, let's work backwards there with the number 2 seed, Wake Forest. And given what West Virginia's RPI is right in the top 20, Wake sits just behind them. These are 2 schools that really could have almost been flip-flops, save for a game or 2 during the season. And Wake has a number 1 pitcher that is an absolute dude, and I mean that with the highest level of respect, was that Chris Lavonis was a second-round pick of the Brewers and chose to go to Wake Forest instead. At one point this season had the highest miles per hour clocked pitch in college baseball, getting over 100 miles an hour. So he's an absolute stud on the mound, and certainly hope Wake Forest decides to throw him in game one against Kentucky in order to get a win. Kentucky's an interesting case study. They're one of the teams in this field that a lot of people nationally said, whoa, how did Kentucky get into this field? They only won 2 SEC series all season, but if you dig a little deeper and listen to the head of the playoff committee, he said, or the NCAA selection committee, Mike Alford, said they were 15-9 against teams in the NCAA field. So it's a team that did produce against high-level competition, and it's a team that, listen, Dave, might as well be a conference opponent for West Virginia as much as they've played them. 3 of the last 4 regionals have had West Virginia and Kentucky in them. We know West Virginia last year beat Kentucky twice, including coming from behind from 5 runs 2 different times in the game to advance on and get out of that super regional down at Clemson. So there's a lot of angst in that game. That's a great rivalry if those two meet here in Morgantown. And then Binghamton, you mentioned, they're certainly the least known baseball program coming in here, but shouldn't be looked past them. A school record wins this season. So it's a loaded regional, and if you get out of this, you've done well to earn your way through.
Metro News Sports, 3 guys before the game, co-host on Metro News Sports Line, Brad Howe, joining us here on Talkline this morning. 16 seed, too low, right about where the Mountaineers should have been coming off the Big 12. What do you think, Brad?
Yeah, a little bit too low, I think, overall Big 12. I do think if I was trying to speak out of both sides here, just short answer, yeah, too low. West Virginia probably deserved a better seed. I think Kansas did as well. You get 2 hosts out of the Big 12, which is really good, but putting them down there, probably not exactly right. I do think a challenge was because Kansas won regular season and tournament titles, you couldn't have West Virginia ahead of them, even though West Virginia's RPI is better, and even though they went 3-1 in the head-to-head. The 2 titles has to carry some weight, so therefore that probably locks them at the 15, and West Virginia has to slot in behind them. I'm of the belief, had you beat them in the conference tournament, would have made you 4-0 against them head-to-head, had a better RPI, you might have slid ahead of them, and I think we could have an argument, we'll have it for another day, that West Virginia could have been seated ahead of, say, a Nebraska that's out of the Big Ten that only sent, I believe, 3 teams into the NCAA tournament. But that's equivalent that we can save for another day. The fact you're hosting is big. The fact that this team has a chance to play in front of this home crowd, massive for this program.
I can hear the excitement, Brad. I can tell when you're faking it. You're not faking it. You're excited.
Oh, can't wait, man. This is a lot of fun. When college baseball is good, as West Virginia has been, and you get over in a beautiful park with great weather as we're starting off the summer, it's awesome. And you're right, I am excited. That isn't fake. Can't wait to watch this team go at it. It's a fun brand of baseball, and they've been having a great year. I'm anxious to see them put it on display for more of the country than they have to this point.
Brad, I would take good college baseball over big league baseball most of the time. It's fundamental. There's strategy involved, and of course, the big fly is always a part of the game as well, but it's kind of the game the way it's meant to be played. Big leagues, they get too much into the analytics and launch angle and all that stuff. But, they're still move the runners over. Get them on, get them over, get them in.
And Dave, you're right, and that's how West Virginia plays, right?
Yeah.
You saw them against Arizona State bunt 2 batters in a row. They steal home, and interestingly enough, Kentucky plays much the same way. They're very much a run the bases, take the extra base, drop the bunt down. So, yeah, you're going to see some fun styles, and again, Kentucky's got a dude, too, at the start of their rotation. West Virginia, of course, has 3 star pitchers, including Big 12 Pitcher of the Year. So I think you're going to get it all in this regional. I think you're going to see elite future big leaguers pitching, and I think you're going to see some fun styles of offense coming to Morgantown on Friday.
You talking about it tonight on Sportsline? What do you guys got lined up yet?
Yeah, we're diving into that a bunch. And if you need more, we just dropped a new 3 guys out there with Brody Kresser, who's an unbelievable story. 5th-year senior, has played such a valuable role, and we dove deep with him. That is out wherever you get your podcasts or on the Metro News TV app as well. But certainly Sportsline tonight, 6:06. We'll have more of it.
He's Brad Howe, Metro News Sports. 3 guys before the game, baseball junkie, all the above. Brad, appreciate it, buddy. Looking forward to the weekend.
Okay, Dave. Thanks for having me.
Take care, buddy. Brad Howe. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. You don't have to get me started. I love baseball. Love it at every level. And for the opportunity, and it's huge for the opportunity here locally when you look at the local economy of not just Morgantown, but north central West Virginia. You've got 4 teams coming in. Kentucky's not that far away. Wake Forest, really, I mean, that's not that far away. Those are easy drives for fans to make to come here, to eat in our restaurants, to stay in hotels. We'll take it. We'll absolutely take it. And that trickles down not just Morgantown and, the surrounding cities, Granville, Westover, all of my favorite little towns there, but that goes down 79. That gets into Fairmont. That goes into Bridgeport when you're looking for hotels and places to go eat as well. You know what? Well, maybe we'll get Susan Riddle. She runs the local CVB up here. I know she's excited about these types of events. 304-TALK. 304 is the text line. 800-765-8255. That's the phone number. Rest of the show belongs to you. Wasn't exactly the type of unofficial start to summer that we'd anticipated over the Memorial Day weekend, but you start looking ahead, as Brad mentioned, the weather is warming up. It's going to clear up, and it is going to be nice, and it is going to be time to hit the rivers and lakes and get out there on your boat, if you have one. So go now while you still have time and check out all the inventory at LouWendellMarineSales.com and get a great deal on a pontoon or fishing boat. Lou Wendell Marine Sales, we sell family fun. Back to the Cove Insurance Studios in a moment.
For over 30 years, High Technology Foundation has been committed to building a stronger West Virginia. Our mission, economic diversification. By fostering innovation and supporting tech initiatives, we pave the way for a brighter future. From cutting-edge research to tech-driven solutions, we're transforming the landscape. Join us in creating opportunities and driving progress. Let's build a diverse economy together. Visit WVHTF.org. High Technology Foundation, shaping West Virginia's future.
Days, evenings, weekends, and holidays. You can't predict when you'll get sick or hurt. But WVU Medicine Urgent Care is prepared to help when you do. Our team treats minor illnesses and injuries and performs services like on-site lab and imaging, vaccinations, and sports physicals. WVU Medicine is ready to assist you and your family when life happens. To find the closest location near you, visit wvumedicine.org/urgent care.
Welcome back, class of 2011.
Most likely to be a millionaire, didn't quite make it.
Hey, reunion's not over yet.
Over here, millionaire, smile.
Make room, people.
Who is that?
Congratulations to our very own Millionaire for Life. Never too late, man.
You could win up to $1 million every year with Millionaire for Life. Play in store or online today. West Virginia Lottery. 18 plus to play. Play responsibly.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
In 1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
What does it mean to lead in medicine? J.W. Ruby Memorial Hospital is the top hospital in West Virginia, nationally recognized for 3 programs in 18 procedures and conditions. But to us, leadership means being first in care, in lives saved, in lives restored. In medicine, we lead in the ways that truly matter.
Stay ahead of West Virginia weather with Metro News Television. Now bringing you a new way to stay informed across the Mountain State. Get updates daily at 9, noon, and 4. From headlines and precipitation to severe weather threats and highs and lows. See conditions from panhandle to panhandle and check travel with the Fly CRW forecast. Our meteorologists are on your screens and on Talkline, Midday, Hotline, and Sportsline, keeping you up to date. Metro News Television weather. Accurate, local, and always on.
Longer days, warmer drives, and better deals at Dan Cava GMC. Hit the road in one of our new luxury GMC Acadias. Take your pick from our massive selection. Now up to $5,500 off select new Acadias and 3.9% for 60 months. The great deals continue with our large selection of quality pre-owned vehicles. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop the world.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
CityNet is West Virginia's local internet provider. High-speed, reliable fiber internet is probably right at your front door, and now is the perfect time to connect. More rural communities have access to high-speed internet, free equipment, free installation, no contract, local customer support you can trust, perfect for working from home or maybe gaming. Fast, reliable fiber internet built for everyday life. When it's high-speed internet you need, citynet.net connects, protects, and perfects. 304-TALK, 304 is the text line, 800-765-8255, the phone number. Texter says, I think there is something the SSAC could do. They could add one more qualifier to each region. They added 4 baseball teams to the state tournament recently. Okay, let me just not bore you here, but let me explain this, because there's this misconception that the Secondary Schools Activities Commission operates like the NCAA or like the NFL Commissioner's Office. That's not at all how this organization works. The organization is made up of the 100 and some, how many ever it is, member schools. And it is the principals and the athletic directors, and mostly the principals. I think the ADs are involved. But they are the ones, the Board of Control, who ultimately propose changes, and those changes are voted on. Rule changes are proposed. Those rule changes are voted on by the member schools. It's not one person or 2 people or 6 people at an office in Parkersburg making those decisions. Now, they are tasked with carrying out and executing the decisions and enforcing the rules, but it's not as if the executive director or assistant director or the director of the state track meet can unilaterally make a decision to add a qualifier or decide they're going to hand out 2 first-place medals or have co-champions in this one extenuating circumstance. Now, could the Board of Control, could they go through the process and create a rule and vote? I guess they could, sure. But that's all going to be moot probably in June when we get a ruling from the U.S. Supreme Court. One way or another, it's going to be moot, right? So the idea, again, this concept that organization operates similar to the NCAA or the NFL Commissioner's Office, that's not how it works. That is not at all how it works. So could they have added it? Probably not. Probably not is the answer to your question. 304-TALK, 304, the text line. Please, Jim, sell the Greenbrier. It's getting run down. Let Omni take it over and invest in the property, unlike what you're doing with it now, which is running it into the ground. It's a jewel in West Virginia and needs to be in better hands. If you go to Brad McElhinny's story at wvmetronews.com, I believe part of the financing that the Justice Family Businesses say it has secured would include investment into the facilities there in Lewisburg. 304-TALK, 304. Justice called J.G. Wentworth. Maybe he'll get another helicopter. The famous commercials. Do those air all over the state or specific to northern part up near the Pittsburgh area? All the time. Get them all the time on television. 304-TALK, 304 is the text line, 800-765-8255. That is the phone number. Jackpots are growing in West Virginia. Jackpots are on the rise every week. Powerball hits Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. Mega Millions lights up Tuesdays and Fridays. That's 5 chances a week to get in on life-changing jackpots. Play in-store and online. 18 plus to play. Please play responsibly. The Powerball jackpot is $154 million. Mega Millions jackpot is $311 million. So go ahead, play today. We're back in a moment.
Tens of thousands of hardworking West Virginians earn their living in our state's growing natural gas industry, including thousands for Antero Resources, West Virginia's top natural gas producer. Antero's investments are boosting our local workforce and small businesses. We're proud to give back and invest locally to support West Virginia workers producing West Virginia energy. But the Mountain State's best days are ahead, and Antero Resources is just getting started. Visit AnteroResources.com to learn more.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
For over 4 decades, we've been rooted deep inside West Virginia. Through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving your neighborhood since 1979. Your trusted partner in the community.
The health plan. We are here for you.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
I'm Sean Kovich, Mountaineer Golf Coach. When disaster strikes your home, business, or golf game, call the restoration company the Mountaineers call. Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
What does it mean to lead in medicine? J.W. Ruby Memorial Hospital is the top hospital in West Virginia, nationally recognized for 3 programs in 18 procedures and conditions. But to us, leadership means being first in care, in lives saved, in lives restored. In medicine, we lead in the ways that truly matter.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Couple of more texts here. Final call for text. Final call for phone calls for the day. 304 Talk 304. So, Dave, are the rules of the WVSSAC and law? Sounds to me like the gender question is up to them to decide and make the rules. That's how other countries do it. It's not up to federal state law. It's the body that oversees the sport that is responsible for it. After all, legislators did such a great job on the school transfer issue for sports. All right, let me do this quickly. Again, I'm not trying to bore you, but there is a lot of misinformation running around rampant online over the last few days. The member schools, when they propose a rule change, vote on the rule, that ultimately has to be approved by the State Board of Education. So the SSAC is overseen by the State Board of Education. Now, when it comes to the question about gender identity, there's a state law. There is a state law on the books passed in 2021 by an overwhelming majority and signed by then Governor Justice that says boys cannot compete in girls' sports. Period. And that state law has to be incorporated into the governing body's rules, just like the transfer rule had to be incorporated into the governing body's rules. Same thing. So the state law, you can't supersede it. You can't supersede that state law. But ultimately, the Secondary Schools Activities Commission is overseen by the State Board of Education. So, yes, some rules can be in law, but it's my position, and I have told you this many times before, for the most part, in general, state legislature has a lot of things on its plate, doesn't do a lot of things well, doesn't need to get involved in trying to regulate secondary school athletics or other activities for the most part. But this law is on the books. The only reason this law is not enforced or the rule is not being enforced is because it is in front of the United States Supreme Court. And that was argued, again, the oral arguments were in January. I would expect, I would not be surprised if we get a ruling on this from the United States Supreme Court next month, sometime this summer. Is it next month or usually in June when the rulings come out? Soon. Let me just go with that nice, broad, generic term. Soon. And the issue will be settled one way or the other. You may or may not like what the Supreme Court has to say. But the issue, at least, will be settled from a legal standpoint. I got worked up today, Jake. If you missed any of the show, it is available for you on demand on the MetroNews television app. You can also download it to your favorite podcast device and listen to it at your leisure. Don't forget, high school softball state tournament gets underway tomorrow at Little Creek Park in Charleston. Exclusive radio coverage at WVMetroNews.com. Talk to you tomorrow at 10:06. This is Talkline on Metro News. For 40 years, the voice of West Virginia.